platform. Also, if you want to see me straight, yeah, if you want to see my face, and I'm talking to, I have a laptop here and I have live going on there on another platform, so you can register. I have a link in bio, so by registering there, you'll get all the links and you will be able to join the live there. So if you want to do this, you feel free, please, and do it right now. Okay. Hi guys, I can see you here too. Is the connection okay? Give me 1 second to check everything and we're gonna start today's journey. It's a yes. So I can see myself here perfectly fine. Thank you for that. So today is our second day of our workshop and we were talking about going beyond the survival self. And yesterday, I will just do like a very quick recap of what we were talking about yesterday. And we were diving deeper into some stepping stones, which we usually miss in our work on ourselves. So that stepping stone that I call is our turning towards our inner self, but not away from it. Do you remember I was giving you a lot of examples about how people can use spiritual work, meditations, sports, anything that can be very useful for your mind, for your body, for your psyche, but everything, and I mean everything, can be used in our way away from us. So we can be using that not to come closer to ourselves, but actually to run away from the pain from our past. And we can even do that not realizing that we are doing it. And trust me, I have thousands of clients already. I can tell you thousands of clients with whom we've been on that journey, with whom we were covering that thing, that our inner protective part that says, oh, I will not go into that direction. I don't want to see myself vulnerable. I don't want to get there. Like my recent work with one of my clients was like this. I was asking her, so right now you want to overcome the breakup in the relationships, and breaking up, you cannot let yourself feel the pain. And she was like, yes, I cannot let myself feel the pain because it's so painful. And I keep on eating, I keep on watching TV, Netflix, and so on. I keep on talking to my friends, and I feel like I'm avoiding that part of me that is actually grieving inside of me. So this was our perfect timing, the perfect door that was opened to see what part of her is there and what is this part scared of. But if she kept on, like, building herself up from the ashes of those relationships, if she kept on doing some distractions, even meditation can be a distraction that can be done in this situation. So if she kept on doing that, we would have never approached her true inner vulnerable part that was deep, deep, deep beneath of it all. And that part, actually, you know what it said when we dive deeper there and we just we were sitting with it for a while, and that part felt like nothingness. She said, if I let myself fall into that feeling, into that grieving, into that pain, there is nothing. Well, okay, there is nothing. And she said absolutely nothing. So I feel like if I let go of this relationship, I will just fall on my back into nothingness. And I will be crawling there like a bug, that is laying on its back and cannot move its anything, cannot flip over. So she felt herself to be this bug, laying there alone on her back with nobody, no one else that can help her. And you know what is the most interesting thing in that? That when we started to sit with that feeling and like going deeper, because method of 3 eyes that I use to do the work, it helps us to really understand what is beneath of it all. So do a flip, it's a nice thing to do a flip. But what if you can't? What if you feel that you're not capable to do a flip? What if you feel that your relationships, all that you had with some person, it was your life? But when you let go, you feel like you are on that back, laying there alone without any possibility to do a flip. You can't. You feel like you can't. So we went there, and in that situation, she felt herself being a child. She felt herself being a child who was never talked to, who was left alone with her own emotions. She had timeouts, so her parents were sending her on timeouts to her own room, like, okay, you're too loud right now. You need to go and deal with your emotions. And they were sending her upstairs to her room to sit quietly there. And her parents, actually, they were telling her that this is the opportunity for her to understand her own feelings, to have a boundary of her own room, and to lean on that boundary of her own room so she can stop being emotional and start being rational. That's the teaching that she had. And it was not even like, in between of the lines. It was just straightforward. This is what you're supposed to do. If you're emotional, you need to go upstairs, you need to sit in your room and lean on the boundaries of your room just to feel that you have those boundaries, because kids need boundaries. They need to be, like to have their own space to do the work. And when you come down, so then you can call from upstairs and ask if you have a permission to come downstairs. Obviously, that's why she felt absolutely incapable to do the flip. Not because it's a reality, like obviously she can, but she felt like she can't because that was the thing that she was taught. I have a viral video right now on my feed, and it's about a guy in the elevator. I hope, guys, you've seen it. If not, then after the live event, please go there and just check it out. There is an elevator, and there is a guy standing in that elevator. And he's just standing there and like feeling fine. Then another guy is coming inside, and he has 4 helmets. And he puts those 4 helmets like in a row. And like he's putting on one and standing in a helmet. And that guy who was the first one in the elevator, he's like, okay, what's going on? But then he's like, okay, this guy is weird. So it's not enough for us to learn something, yeah? But then other people start to come in, and they also take the helmet and put it on. And that the first guy, he starts to like be nervous. What's going on there? Where are we going? What are they doing? And so on. And at the very end, all of them went out, and one helmet is left on the floor. And that guy, he just like looks around, picks up that helmet and puts it on. And this is the real about the conditioning we have. It's not about people being like sheep. Like I have a lot of comments like it. Oh, he's like spineless. He's like, oh my God, he's so stupid and so on. But it's not about that. I was trying to show you, like my goal there was to show you that we are trained. And we are trained because all those trainings they are like so deep inside of our subconscious. And they are based on danger. They are based on our survival mechanisms. So for that little girl about whom I was talking before, that guy in the elevator, for her survival depended on her ability to distract herself, not to be on her back. So she started going to her room. That's what we figured out during our work. So going to her own room, she started feeling that she needs some kind of a distraction for herself. And she was playing toys, playing games, drawing, doing a lot of stuff, and then coming out. And she started to do that as soon as she felt like she was very emotional. They were locking her in that room, saying, you have a timeout. And she was sitting and forcing herself into the play. And after a couple minutes, that play became real, and she was disconnected from her strong emotions. And that's what she was doing all of the time in all her life, and even in that relationship. But relationship ended, that guy left, and she was left alone with all of those emotions, but they became so intense that she was not capable to do the flip. She was not capable to force herself into play. So she was sitting with that popcorn, watching TV, eating ice cream, talking to her friends, trying to figure out what she's supposed to do with all that. How can she just take herself out of all that? She was doing that, but it didn't work because of the intensity of the emotions that she had. They were already so overwhelming that she couldn't cope. And that feeling, like I showed you yesterday, I want to show it again. What do we have here? With what do we work usually? So there is an iceberg. You have a problem. And that problem, with the problem, she came to me like, okay, help me solve this problem. I had a relationship and he ended it. I didn't want to end those relationships. So he ended it and he left. And I can't cope. That's the presenting problem. So she came with it. She said, Lana, I cannot do that. I feel like I'm stuck in the cycle of self-destruction. So I'm eating a lot, I'm watching TV, I'm like talking and doing everything, but not my life. So that was her problem. But the symptom there was not the problem. So the problem is just the way you describe your symptom. But the symptom, the actual symptom with which we are supposed to work is that feeling that she can't fall into that lonely space when she's laying on the back. She's there laying on her back and nobody is here for her to help her to stand up. So that feeling of I can't do that, I'm like forced to have that free fall into that space, but I can't do that because I'm not capable of coping with that feeling. So that's the symptom. Like, I told you yesterday about the floor of trauma, that we have the experience, a lot of like the neutral energetical soup that we have in our childhoods. And that neutral energetical soup becomes not neutral, but becomes a trauma with two conditions: an unmet need, the profound one, unmet need, and a limited belief that is explaining why I can't meet this need directly, why I'm not capable of it. So if you have those two conditions, then we have a traumatic event. And that trauma that we call trauma, it's not about like being abused all your childhood. I told yesterday that it can be like you were not allowed to choose your pants to your kindergarten. And that could be a trauma, because if you had, along with that, a parent that was always forcing you into something, you didn't have the space to express yourself. Obviously, if you had a mom who once told you, no way, you're going to put on those green pants, they don't match your, I don't know, like pink shirt, so let's put on pink pants, and it was just a one situation, that's a one thing. But if it wasn't one situation, if you had it like a constant, ongoing situation, then all those like neutral events, they start to be a part of a trauma. And it starts to be like it at some point when your psyche says, I give up, I can't just like go through it being whole anymore. I need fragmentation to survive. And then your psyche fragments itself. And it fragments itself only when you have those two conditions: an unmet need. The most popular one is an unmet need of an unconditional love. So it is like sort of beneath of it all, but there are different unmet needs. Like there is a need to be heard. There is a need to be seen. There is a need to be important. Some kids are told from their childhood, you're not important. Grow up. You need to grow up first, and then we will listen to what you want to say. Now you cannot have an opinion. So this is also a need that can be unmet. And then a description, an explanation, why can't I meet this need? And that can be everything, like I'm bad, I'm not good enough, I'm a spoiled child, I was born already being wrong, and so on. So there are a lot of things we can tell ourselves. And that makes a tree of limiting beliefs to appear inside of us. And we grow that tree and we water it and we give it everything we need, everything it needs to grow and grow and grow. Why? Because all limiting beliefs, they are a bit tricky. They need something to make you believe they are the only way you can see the world. So they operate out of fear and they make you to, to be loyal to them, to those limitations. So at that point, when you have that spot, that not very sweet spot inside of your psyche that is called trauma, you have a traumatic response and you have a compensation that compensates that explanation that you have to that unmet need. For example, let's take this little girl. I was talking about that little girl who was abandoned in her room and she was sitting there on a timeout and she was not talked to. She was alone there, completely alone, and she started to distract herself. So she's there. There is a big emotion and there is a feeling, I have a need right now to have a container, to have a safe container for my emotions. I have a need to be safe with my emotions. But that is an unmet need because nobody is there for her. They say, go to your room, do whatever you want, but please come out nice and smiley and pleasant and, So she's sitting there and nobody is with her. She's alone. So at that loneliness, what is happening? She is creating that traumatic response. That's the spot of trauma. And it could happen in her first time out, but it could happen in her second and third and fourth. So there are a lot of factors that can contribute to that. So let's imagine that the first time out is so intense that, for example, her parents yelled at her and they shoved her, like, go there. And she's sent to her room in a very rude way. Maybe they spanked her. So at that moment, she feels abandoned. She feels lonely. She feels very vulnerable and alone. And she's there, and that event starts to be a trauma. It's not a neutral, energetic soup anymore. It's a trauma. Because at that point, she's sitting there trying to cope with her emotions. She feels that she can't, and her psyche is fragmenting itself into a coping mechanism and into something she needs to push away. So at that moment, she feels an unmet need of be safe with her emotions. She's not safe with her own emotions because she cannot regulate them. She can't self-regulate. Nobody taught her. And a second thing, she's explaining herself. Okay, I'm a bad girl and I need to be a good one. I'm a bad girl, a bad girl, a bad girl, a bad girl. And that's why I can't please my mommy. That's why I'm too loud. I'm spoiled. I'm a spoiled child. That's what's going on inside of her. And guys, I've heard that so many times from my clients when they are in a hypnotic state and we are coming back to those traumatic events, and we are not coming back like, in the same state that we've been when we were little. No, we have all the tools to do that safe, to do that openly, to do that in a very powerful way, empowered way. So we are going back there. And I cannot even tell you how many times we had that situation where we come back and see how a kid is telling themselves how bad they are. I'm so bad. She's like 5 years old and she's like, I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I'm spoiled. I'm so spoiled. Nobody loves me because I'm spoiled. Not because those people are crazy to send a child on a timeout alone, but because I am spoiled. I'm so spoiled. And that's the way of creating that fragmentation. Because even though I explain myself, for example, if I'm that girl, I'm explaining myself that I'm spoiled, I need some means to survive. And what can I do with that? I can go into two directions. One direction is to go and give in. Say, okay, I'm gonna be your little girl. I will please you the way I can. I will do everything you want from me. I'll distract myself. I will not be with those feelings because at that moment, I start associating those big emotions, big feelings with something bad. So to have those feelings is bad, is a part of being a spoiled child, being a bad child. So at that very moment, I sit there and I literally fragment myself. And I start to put my focus, because I had my focus in my center. I had my focus in my center before that event. But after that event, my focus is in my coping mechanism. So I drag that focus out of me and I put it in my coping mechanism. It is happening literally inside. And I'm starting to teach myself to be a people pleaser, to be a good girl, to be nice, to have only good feelings. And I teach myself literally every day. If I feel that bad emotion, I can see it coming from a long distance. I block that emotion. I don't let that emotion to come closer. Because I know if I let it, I will be a bad girl again, and I will left alone in that room all by myself, coping with that huge, intense emotion. I don't want to get to that spot anymore, ever in my life. So that is the moment of truth for you to understand what is going on there. And there is another part of you. So in order to put the focus onto that compensatory behavior, people-pleasing mechanism, a good girl facade, I need to push away the one that is a rebellion, the one that says, I will not tolerate it. It's you who needs to be closer to me, who needs to be my container, not me. It's you, and I will go louder and louder and louder until you're gonna meet my need. So that part of me is a dangerous part right now because I fragmented myself and I calculated on a deeper level that only this people-pleasing mechanism will work with my family. Only this one. I also consider my siblings. If I have siblings at that moment, for example, I may be having a sibling who is already that people pleaser, and I'm a bad one. And I sort of exist to make my, for example, sister to be a good girl. Without me, she can't be a good girl because there is no comparison. So I feel like I exist in that family to be a comparison for my sister, who is a good girl. And if it's happening like this, yes, I'm not a therapist, I'm a hypnotherapist, but I work with my method. The method that I've created that is called the method of 3 eyes. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later. But yeah, if you are interested in what am I doing, I'm a hypnotherapist. But I went deeper. And what I'm explaining to you right now is how the trauma is created inside of us. So at that moment, if I have a sister, I feel like I exist only to be that anti-hero. So if I'm an anti-hero, if I have a sister and she's a good girl and I'm sitting there in my own room, I will not jump into that good girl. I will jump into an opposite direction, into rebellion. And I will crash everything and smash everything. And my parents will be sitting downstairs, like hiding their ears and thinking like, oh my gosh, why she's so bad? And I will be doing that only because I associate myself with that fragment that is a rebellion. And that fragment that is a rebellion, that person that is very loud, very demanding. This is my survival strategy because the people pleaser is already taken. So what am I trying to say here? That you're considering all the situation. You not only think, okay, I will be a people pleaser because this is easier. No, your psyche is doing that on a very deep level without you knowing that. It's not like a dialogue in your head, no. It's happening like that, like a snap of a finger. And then let's come back to my real client, to that little girl who was sitting there and thinking, okay, I will not go to that situation anymore. I will be a good girl. I will listen to people. I will hide my feelings and emotions. I will see them coming from the very, very long distance, and I'll block them before they can harm me. So I associate, the tricky part here, guys, is that association that all those bad emotions are the enemies. They are my enemies and I can't feel them. That's why when that girl, being already a full-grown woman, was abandoned by her partner, who said, I'm leaving you, it's okay, I'm done, I don't want this relationship anymore. And she wanted that relationship, and he didn't. She was left with the very big emotion of sadness, of grief, the very big emotion that she couldn't tolerate. Because it was, for her, the same thing as to be sitting there in that room, being absolutely lonely, being absolutely abandoned by the whole world. And she didn't want to jump there and to be left there. That's why she was eating ice cream, she was watching TV, she was doing everything she could, just not to dive to that spot, traumatic spot again. And what we are doing in the method of 3 eyes that I'm teaching is 3 eyes that are identification. We identify our cycle. We identify our trauma. We identify our floor of trauma, what we are pushing away and where we stand and why. So this first part of the method is identification. After that, there is a part that is called integration. And as I told you yesterday, if you are present there, that's good. If not, I'll repeat. So the integration part starts with integrating your compensatory behavior. Because when you come to me or to another, I don't know, another therapist or whatever, you are coming to someone for help, you present a problem. And that problem sounds like, he left me, I can't cope in this situation, yeah? The symptom is, I don't want to get down there to that pain of being left alone, to feel like I'm laying there on my back and I can't do the flip. So you don't want to get back to that point, but you have a discomfort of not going there. So there you have like two layers going against each other, because the floor of trauma is that fragmentation, separation, division of your psyche into 2 parts. And you know that if we have the division, all that wants to come back to the wholeness again. So with that division, we stand there and we see that there is one part and there is another part. And at that, those 2 parts are going against each other because they just want to fulfill the cycle. They want to go and get together again. So that part that was abandoned, that rebellion part, is saying like, okay, come on, let's just like, let's be loud. Let's tell everybody what we feel. So she came to me with that feeling like, I want people to know what I feel. And another part of her said, no, stay quiet. Let's eat ice cream. Let's watch TV. No, don't. And that part is bigger because all of her life, she was compensating everything with this part. And this part was underneath of it all. It was sort of like, in the basement of your psyche. So that part is starting to come out, and that part is starting not to let it to come out. That's why we have that discomfort that is underneath. So there is a problem that you have. You can already think about yourself, about the field where you feel there is a problem in your relationships, in your career, in your money situation. Maybe it's about your kids, maybe it's about your hobby, maybe it's about anything. And you feel it like a problem. There is a symptom where you don't want to go, the spot where you don't want to go. That's why you're trying to fix it, because you don't want to drop yourself into that spot of being abandoned and sitting alone. Not like that little girl. You can have your own situation, but she had the situation of being left alone in her room on a timeout. So then there is a symptom, and that symptom is created by a discomfort of those two parts trying to meet each other. So that's what is happening. And in the method of 3 eyes, the second eye is an integration. And that integrative process, it's about integration, both of those parts. The part that protected you the whole time, and some part of you now is going against that part. And it says, okay, it's enough to be a people pleaser. Let's tell everybody how we suffer, how we feel, and so on and so forth. So we need to integrate that compensative mechanism, because in a way you are against it. And then we need to integrate that mechanism that is trying to come out. And then we are coming to another thing that is called initiation. Because then we are again at that point of trauma spot where the separation happened, where you have an unfulfilled, unmet need and a belief that explains why you don't have that need met. So all that together combined creates the process of the method of 3 eyes. And that process is a very deep and profound work. It's not like, okay, let's do it, and we are doing it just in a couple of minutes. No, it's a profound work, and it changes your life because you start looking at yourself in a different way. You start to understand what is going on inside of you and why. And that's why I call this workshop Beyond the Survival Self, because that survival self is creating that fragmentation. This is you surviving some sort of a situation from your childhood. So this is the thing. And I want you right now just to feel that there is a lot of going on inside of you, and you may be not aware of it. And that awareness, it helps a lot to get out of that survival strategy. Because the survival strategy is a good one when there is a danger, and when there is no danger, and you keep on surviving, you don't live your life. You are just in the survival mode all of the time, and your body is in the survival mode. It actually thinks that you are in danger, and you can have all sorts of symptoms, physical symptoms. So that's why it is important, because often I'm asked, okay, Lana, tell me please if I have it, if everybody has it, why not to live with it? If it helped me, so what? So it's about you making a decision. It can be okay if you think, okay, I don't want to go there to that spot of loneliness. I will just take myself out of a bad relationship with the ice cream and Netflix. And if it's your conscious choice, I'm not trying to say that you are wrong. I'm here to explain that there is another way. And it's only you who decides. If I want to go deeper, if I want to solve it, if I want to get to my authentic self. And yesterday I also was telling that thing about authenticity, it also has some underneath currents. For example, if you're chasing your authenticity, at that moment you start to feel like all the life you had was useless. Because if I weren't authentic before, and I'm like 45, for example, right now, so I had 45 years of lie, and that feels bad. But actually, you've been authentic. You've been in that survival mode. And if you go out of that survival mode, you will be more of who you really are. Because you are that part that is a surviving mechanism, and at the same time, you are that part that has created that surviving mechanism. And if you are aware of all of those parts, you start to understand that you are not the survival mechanism. You are bigger than that. And that is growing your awareness and spreading your awareness, and that helps you to feel more alive. Because you are not already associating yourself with that surviving mechanism. Your body starts to relax. You start to feel more of yourself coming through your body also, your actions, your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. And that is the thing that is helping you to get into the life itself, to that fullness of who you are. Okay, so we've talked about the root of our blocks, and it's a very interesting topic when we can discuss it using some examples. Yeah, because I cannot just pick one story and explain everything using just one story. There are so many. And there are so many stories that can speak to us. So many stories that we are telling ourselves. We don't have just one traumatic event in our life. I can tell you that somebody has hundreds. And sometimes we get to that point when a person says, okay, I have so many trauma in my life, I will not be able to cope. It's not true. Even when you have a lot of traumatic events, when you start doing the work, when you start understanding yourself, expanding your awareness, when you start to be present with yourself, when you start to be your best friend, you know what it means to be your own best friend is to be the one who stayed. Yeah, your parents left you alone in that room and you were struggling and you were on a timeout there, but you can come back there and be present there with yourself. And that makes you your own best friend because you are the one who will never leave, who will stay, who will be there no matter what. And this awareness, this feeling of support that right now you can give to yourself. You were not able to do that when you were younger, when you were a kid, but now you can. And this is cool. And sometimes, as I told you, there is that temptation to say, oh, I never truly lived my life. I have so many compensatory programs. But then you realize, wow, how amazing to see this. How great that I can now choose to be more of who I am already, to be more myself. And that's where you place your focus in that work. So I just want you to start with this. Just do a little practice right now with me. So if you feel overwhelmed, like remember that we always have some challenges, that all the spiritual work doesn't have the goal to be without strong emotions. It doesn't have the goal to be a rainbow and a unicorn and a gummy bear. All the work that we are doing, it is done just to be more of who you already are, just to let yourself feel more of who you really are, not just that compensation, not just that fragmentation, no, not just that surviving, because you know, when you're in the survival mode, you never feel like you survived the situation. You always feel like it's still chasing me. So let's do that simple, small exercise. Just place your hands somewhere on your body. Maybe it's the chest. Just think where you want to place your hands to give yourself some acceptance, to give yourself some act of friendship. Right now, before we go deeper, before we see what I've created for you today, just place your hands somewhere on your body and just give yourself some presence. How amazing to see what is beneath my problem. How amazing to see the greatness of my psyche, the greatness of my compensatory behaviors. How great that now I can see I'm aware enough to go deeper. I'm aware enough to stay present with strong emotions, with discomfort, with me being not perfect. How amazing and great that I can now choose to be more myself. And just give yourself that little pat that we are waiting all of the time from somebody else. That little, I'm here with you, no matter what. Just shift your focus right now for a second, guys, just for a second. Your mind is always solving the problems, how to be this, how to do that, how to be more effective, more efficient, better version of myself, and so on. Just take your time right now to place your hands anywhere in your body. Maybe you'll feel comfortable like this, maybe like this. Maybe you'll even hold your head. I had a client who said, I want to hold my head. It has so many thoughts. It has so many problems. It has so many going on inside. I just want to hold it. I just want to give it a space. I just want to be present with my head. Maybe that's what you want to do right now. So that just little exercise can help you to get back to yourself as a friend and to tell yourself, okay, I'm not leaving you, I'm here with the discomfort. I'm not trying to fix the discomfort. I'm not trying to get rid of it. I'm not trying to be a better version of myself, more spiritual, more intellectual, more understanding, more loving. All that is not a goal, guys. Because if you set a goal to be a more loving creature, guess what? That goal is coming out of fear. And if you have fear, and if you are projecting that fear outside, you'll get more of it. But if you feel love, and you're doing it out of love, you'll get more love. So here is just one little exercise to be present. That lady who was trying to hold her head, and giving some support to her head, she had the compensation of explaining everything. You know, trauma teaches you to explain everything. And a lot of people who come to some spiritual work, who are interested in different methods, who are like, okay, tell me please, how does it work, what to do, and so on. Very often, that is the part of a traumatic response. How cool is that? You can have a traumatic response, and that's why you're interested in psychology, in human behavior, because trauma teaches you to explain. You feel safe when you can explain what's going on. Then you feel safer with people around because you can explain their behavior. That is also a traumatic response. So that lady was explaining a lot, so she needed some support to her head. So right now, if you feel where you need that support, just feel your body is always giving you a feedback. It's always there. It's always your friend. So just give yourself maybe this assurance, I'm here, buddy. Maybe a hug. Maybe just place your hands on your chest. Maybe hold your head, I don't know. And tell yourself, wow, how amazing I am. How amazing to see my compensations, my traumatic responses, my fragmentations. How great that now I can choose to be more myself. And I'm choosing to be more of myself with that discomfort, with that traumatic responses. Even if I'm here listening to all this, just to explain for myself what's going on in people's head, and this is also a part of my trauma, I'm still here. So if your psyche fixates on different part, like saying, okay, I need to be better, that's create a pressure. It creates a pressure for you to do the work out of pressure. Like, I want to be better. I want to get slim. I want a better relationship. I want more money. I want blah, 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 blah. And if you fixate your focus on everything needs improvement, you are creating more artificial pressure. It wasn't there, but you've created it right now. So you'll do something. You'll do something. You make yourself do something out of pressure. And that is the moment for you to look, okay, if I'm creating more pressure inside of myself, then maybe I use pressure to start doing something. And that can be the part of you that lives in the child inside of you. Maybe your parents were forcing you to do sports, to have straight A's, to be a good learner. And they were creating a pressure for you to thrive If they had to create a lot of pressure, that could be a traumatic response, that you adapted to that pressure. And now you are creating that pressure for yourself to actually start moving. And you're like, okay, I want to do something. What is my motivation? Question to you all. How do you motivate yourself? Do you motivate yourself with more pressure, or do you motivate yourself with love? What are you using for motivation? Do you use love or fear? How do you feel about it right now? So you can write in the comments. What is your motivational mechanism? What are you using as a motivational mechanism? How is it going on inside of you? Because that pressure is learned. You've learned to put more pressure on yourself to create something. So that stems out of your childhood again. That dynamic comes out of this. So I will just let you think of it. And it can even come out of your birth. How were you born? I was born with a C-section. And for me, being born with a C-section, I have the consequences of it, because after that, my personality was adapting to that birth, because I've started to be stubborn. And that stubbornness, it's not just like my natural character. It's because I had to be stubborn to be born, to survive. And in my practices, when I was doing practices for myself using method of 3 eyes, I found myself in one of those practices being a newborn. And I felt like, oh my gosh, my mom couldn't give me a birth because she had fever. And I had to push, I had to create a lot of pressure to tell everybody that I'm here, that I want to go out, but she can't. But I want to, but she can't. And I felt like I had to create so much pressure to be seen, that in my life I became an overachiever, because pressure was my second name. I need more pressure and more deadlines, And when I realized that my overachieving personality is coming out of it, it was fascinating. I felt like, wow, that's what I did? That's how it worked for me? So I was that person who used the pressure to actually motivate myself. And what if I stopped doing it? And at the moment when I've stopped creating the pressure, I felt like I am going into a rabbit hole. I'm going down somewhere so deep, so dark, so unknown and undesirable. Because I felt like, okay, I'm not creating the pressure. I will lose everything. I will die. It felt like dying, guys, on the deeper inner level. On the surface, it felt like, okay, I need to create something. I need, no, I don't, I need. And I was sitting there in that practice of seeing what will happen if I don't use pressure, don't create pressure, if I'll just give in to life. What will happen? My psyche was like a wet cat in the bathtub, trying to get out of it. And I was trying to wash that cat, and that cat is just like, please, I need to escape. That's what was my psyche doing there. Because I didn't want to go there, and I felt myself at that birth canal. I felt like if I won't create pressure, I'll die right now. I'll die right now. Oh, that's how you feel. You see. I had thousands of clients, and I can tell you that a lot of them are going back to some events like it, to the spots where everything was created. And can you imagine if for your psyche, like for mine, it was so important to create more pressure to survive. My mom had fever. She was laying there with a high fever, and nobody saw her. It was 31st of December, New Year's Eve, and all the doctors were celebrating, and there were like one or two walking around, and she was laying in the corridor. because there was just, it's crazy times. There were no spots in the rooms. She was in the corridor. And one doctor was passing by and she saw the pressure in her belly. And she said, like, we need to do a C-section. Something bad is going on there. And they've made a C-section. That's how I survived. And can you imagine if your psyche was put in those conditions, that the pressure is something that helps you to survive, and then you are grown up and you are telling to that little newborn that still lives in you, okay, you can't create pressure. No more pressure, please. We want to live our life out of easiness and love. And that little baby inside of me was trying to say, no way. How are you like imagining that? I'm here and without pressure, I'll die. Because our psyche is fragmented. The part of me still lived in that little baby coping with their birth. And when I was there and when I told that little baby in the little ear, I was whispering to it through my practice, like, I'm here, we've made it. We've made it, we've survived. Yes, you used pressure so efficiently that they saw us. And you know, it was such a deep thing. My body started to shake, it started to move because a lot of blocked emotions were just going on the surface. And that was using the method of 3 eyes. I got there to that spot and I felt like, oh my God, something very profound is happening. And after that, literally, I don't have to create any more pressure. I can choose to if I want to. When I'm doing sports, I can create pressure for myself on purpose to do something. But I'm not dependent on pressure anymore in my daily life. And I create out of love, out of energy that I have inside of me, but not out of pressure. So this is a very deep understanding. I feel, guys, that this is something that I wanted to hear years ago, because that could help me feel that process deeper, understand that process deeper. And Method of 3 Eyes was created for that, to support you on that journey inside of yourself. So it's fascinating, right? One tiny shift and the image is different. So you can examine how this plays out inside you in relation to your problem, to the symptoms you have, and so on. And everything that you have as, you know, as a reflection of your inner world in your daily life, it can be addressed, it can be seen from the deeper point of view. So it's not like you are doing something and that doingness of it is wrong. No, it's like, okay, I'm doing it for some reason. I'm creating some situations in my daily life for some reason. So Method of 3 Eyes, it helps you to see why are you creating that. So it is the process of identification. Why are you doing that? Then we have the integration process. If you need to, you feel, okay, I need to integrate that because obviously it is telling me I'm here and I have a cycle that is not fulfilled, that is going on inside of me, an energetic cycle, and I want to do something with it. So you go there and you really integrate it, and then you initiate another experience. Like for that, my baby self, I initiated the experience of going through that, of being present with that tiny me and helping that tiny me to go through that process. So this is a very important thing, that we have those 3 steps, and those 3 steps, they help you to actually do the work and feel like you're doing that work not to be perfect or to be healed or to be better, but that you're doing that work to understand yourself more and to be more of who you are, like to regaining that connection with those part of you. So those part of you that you were never be able to see. Okay, let's keep moving in that direction. There is so much prepared for you today, and that was like an introduction, actually. I just wanted you to remember what we were talking about yesterday so we can move forward. And of course, I'll answer your questions, and the questions are always my favorite part. So feel free, guys, to ask questions, to drop them in the comments. Anything you feel right now you need to address, feel free to write the questions, and I will be here and I will answer them. So usually I have the section when I'm doing some webinars, I have a section for Q&A, but also like my preference is to have those questions going with the flow. Because if you have some questions about what I said right now, it could be nice for us to address those questions, yeah? Because when you have the question and that question is going on, like, for example, in the end, I cannot recall what we were talking about before. That's why it's very, very important to drop your questions right now. So I have here a question. This popped up literally right after trying to have a talk with my inner child, getting over the fear of success and a better life, not just surviving. Thank you. Okay, I missed that. How are you able to control when to use pressure and not to rely on it for everything? Okay, I will explain you what is going on right now. Because it's not a sort of a control. Because we used to say that control is it is more an extension of fear. You need the control when you have fear inside of you. And that fear dictates you, okay, hold the situation in your own hands. That's where we are talking about the control. But when I say that I started to use pressure, for example, I do sport, yeah? For example, let's start with stretching. I love stretching. So I'm going to stretching exercises and I need to put more pressure on my hips to be able to open them up more. And that pressure that I put there, it's an intentional pressure on my body. So I choose to use the pressure when I understand what I'm doing there. And this is the example of using the pressure, but also we can do that in our daily routine with our psyche. The example of it would be, okay, I have a project. I already created a project of filming a couple of new amazing reels for my Instagram account. And those reels, I have a huge idea. So amazing that that idea just, it's enlightening me every day. And that idea, I've started like to go into that a couple of days ago. So how can I use pressure here in a way of choosing that pressure? So I'm choosing that pressure when I sit here and I'm asking myself, so I want to fulfill this project. And in the filming, in the process of filming, I like everything. I like everything in the process of preparation. What I don't like when I'm filming the reels is that process when we need to make a setup, it takes a lot of time and so on. And to get there, I can feel like this is the zone that I don't like. So how can I use understanding of pressure and how I can really create it for myself in a loving way? So I'm using the pressure of that part that I don't like. So there will be a part in the creation process that I don't like, of making a setup, of preparing my clothes, of putting on a makeup. I don't like those preparations. They take time, yeah? So I'm using that pressure in a more choosing way. I say I choose that pressure to be there, because with that pressure, I can create that art that is going with it. And I start from that point, not a compensatory behavior, like, okay, I agree to that pressure. No, I start to, inside of me, I can just like imagine the process and I feel already that pressure building up Because, oh yeah, I need to do the setup, the makeup, clothes, and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like creating that inside of me. And at that moment, when I'm creating that, I start to ask myself, how can I welcome it? Oh, that pressure is a sign of my creative process. That pressure is helping me to do this or that. And that's how I'm melting into that pressure. I start not to fear that pressure. Because actually, what was going on when I was dependent on that pressure as an overachiever? I was doing what? I was doing, okay, I have deadlines. I have this, I have that project and that and that and that. I had like 7 clients a day, guys. 7 clients a day. And I was myself signing them up. And I was doing that because I was scared of pressure. Because pressure meant for me something bad, that I was running away from that pressure into some tasks, job, and so on. I was creating the pressure and running away from it, creating, running away. Do you get it right now? So, when it is not integrated, when it is a survival strategy, it is me using that pressure to survive and to really push myself forward with that pressure. Because I was scared of it. But now I welcome that pressure. I say, okay, this pressure is welcomed because I'm choosing it. I'm okay with the pressure of all that stuff. And that pressure is part of my process. That was really enlightening. Thank you. I'm a university student with suspected ADHD and could only rely on pressure to get assignments done. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the comment, because this is also a very important thing. What do I see? I work a lot with people with the suspected ADHD, with the ADHD, the real one, and I can tell you, dive deeper into understanding that part of you that has, so you can even feel what is that is named in our society ADHD. Some symptoms. What are those symptoms? How do I feel them? How do they live in my body? What are they trying to show me? What are they trying to achieve? Maybe they are trying to take you away from some feeling. Maybe those symptoms are trying to teach you something. Like you live in a dangerous environment. We need to run away from it. So this is the lesson that they're trying to teach you. So if I were you, I would go into that. Okay, there is a diagnosis, like it's called ADHD. Why is it called ADHD? Because there are symptoms. Do I have those symptoms? Okay, what are those symptoms? How do I feel them? When those symptoms are active? Okay, what is similar about that symptom and about that environment when it's activated? And with the method of 3 eyes, you can literally go back in the timeline and see when was it formed. I'm not a doctor. I'm not making any diagnosis. I'm telling you that right away. But what I can tell you, I work a lot with psychosomatics. I work a lot in tandem with the doctors. So for example, my clients are coming to me with some problem of ADHD as well. I will tell you about the method. So they come in and they say that I have this. I'm not saying that you should stop seeing your doctor or something like that. Never, ever. I can tell that we can go together with your doctors. So your doctors are doing their job and we are together doing our job. We are right now diving deeper into why do you have it and so on. It can be even when you work with your excessive weight. You can feel like, okay, I have some extra weight. And that extra weight, it's not because you eat a lot or it's not because you don't exercise. Usually the root of the extra weight, it's the feeling of loneliness. It's the feeling of, okay, I'm so lonely and I need to, and the world is dangerous and the people are dangerous. And I need to create some boundaries between me and that world for safety. I'll hide myself deep inside. And that vulnerability creates that process. So if you're seeing your doctor and you're addressing your extra weight, you have your own diet, you have your physical activity, I'm not against that at all. I'm just adding to that some work that can be done with the help of method of 3 eyes, for example. So that's basically what it is. I'll tell you about the method more and in more details. I know that it's new. It's new for the United States. I've been working on this method for a long time. I'm teaching for a long time already, and I can tell you that the results are amazing, because the method, it's a tool, yeah? It's not like, okay, use the method and it's a magic pill and your life will change. No, it's a very, very deep tool that helps you to see how everything was formed inside of you and why. It is like sort of a homecoming, because you're coming back to yourself, to the roots. You stop judging yourself. You start to be your best friend. You start to understand that those symptoms, they are not there just because they popped up and say, okay, we'll be there for you. Those symptoms, and by symptoms, I mean that discomfort, I mean not just a physical symptom of some kind of a disease, yeah? So I use the word symptom because I have a lack of a better word. If you have a suggestion, I will just be grateful for that. So with the method, we are looking, why do you have that? And what is it trying to tell you? What is it trying to teach you? This is also one important piece of inner work that a lot of people miss. Everything is trying to teach you something. And if you don't get the lesson, and you will just get rid of the symptom, like with a Band-Aid on a wound, like not addressing the wound itself, then you'll get back to that symptom, but in a more, in another way, let's say this. That symptom will come back to you because you didn't solve the problem. And what the method is doing, it is giving you all the tools, all the guideline of how to go deeper into that work, how to meet yourself, how to understand yourself, how to love yourself, how to be in a connection with yourself, how to connect all those parts, because you can't even imagine how many fragments of yourself you have. And you can even feel how your life is sort of programmed. I'm doing this work already for a lot of years, more than 10. And I have more than 3,000 clients. That is my work there. And I have a lot of group sessions and I have a lot of courses. So I can tell you that during all that work, I've done a lot of work on myself too. And even now, I can see and get something absolutely amazing in my daily life, and understand that, oh, that is coming from a very, very long ago. I can tell you a very intimate example, if you let me, yeah? A very intimate example is about me being grown woman already, yeah? And I wanted, I already had a relationship with a boy, and he was my boyfriend. But we didn't have any intimacy together because I was against it. I didn't want it. And at some time I felt like, oh, I want to be so close to him. I want to hug him. I want to kiss him. I want to be around with him. I just want it so much. It's just, like in your body at that moment, because the hormones and you feel that love and all that. So I felt it. But at the same moment, I felt like I can't do that. Because if I do that, I'll provoke some kind of a behavior from him that I actually don't want to have. I don't want to get too intimate with him. I just want to be close. But when you are at that age, you cannot say that. I didn't want to say that because I felt like, oh, it may scare him away. So at that moment, I had that conflict inside of me of, oh, I want it and I don't want to show it. And now I have a husband with whom we are married already for 12 years. And in one point, the situation came out that in being connected to him, our connection is amazing. I love everything that is going on between us. We are going deeper and deeper each year. This is such a great gift to have this relationship. And even in that point, and I told you, I've done a lot of work on myself. I found out that connection in my psyche that I still not fully opening, because I have that old pattern that if I do show everything that I have, I can scare him away. That connection is so bizarre right now, but it lives in my psyche with that teenage girl. I was already not a teenager, I was even older, but still, with that girl that has that connection, and it's still there in me. And I found that part, and I've reconnected to that girl, and I said, okay, you are amazing, you are doing amazing. And I was there connected to her and like regaining her power back. I was working with that subconscious belief. If I show myself, I will scare him away. Or if I show myself, I'll have some kind of a behavior that will provoke him to do something that I don't want to do. And I cannot tell him about that because it will scare me. So that layer of me was there. Even me being a full-grown woman right now with 3 kids, with a husband, with a relationship that we had for 12 years, being open, intimate, connected on all levels, that part lived in me. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because that work is so deep. It's so amazing. It is helping you to uncover all the parts of you, reconnect with them, and to be more and more whole. So today we are covering the second eye in the method of 3 eyes. So the method of 3 eyes, it's just like, it is cool because the name is like you have 3 eyes, but what I actually mean, I mean 3 letters. Yeah, so I will tell you right now, what does it mean? What is it coming from? And I even can tell you, how was it created? On what grounds? In which way? So it is called, yeah, so we have a method, and we have 1 eye, 2 eyes, 3 eyes. So the Roman number 3, this is identification. So if to make an identification is to create your floor of trauma, please revisit the first day of our workshop. I'm showing there the floor of trauma, how it is created, what is it doing, and how to understand your own floor of trauma. So with the help of the first day, you can do it by yourself. You can dive deeper and you can send me a DM if you're stuck. I can help you out. So we are making this. We are doing the identification process. Where is your focus? Yeah? What is your floor of trauma? What unmet needs did you have at that point? How did you explain that you cannot have those needs met? The explanation by itself, it's a limiting belief. And that limiting belief has a sort of a tree of different beliefs on top of the root belief. So all that is creating a spot of trauma, the floor of trauma, where the fragmentation is happening, and there your compensatory mechanism is formed, and there you form your shadow that you're pushing away. Like, it's not me, it is dangerous to be like this. So this is the first eye, and today we are diving into the second eye. It is integration. The third eye, we will talk about it tomorrow. It is initiation. And yes, it is sort of connected with our third eye, that is connected to more of spirituality, to more of intuition, and so on, because the initiation process is sort of a ritual that we add there. There is no woo-woo, nothing like it, but still, it is more connected of the real third eye. And that's why it's so, like, I'm fascinated by the name, because it is so interconnected with everything. So today we are talking about the second eye. It is called integration. Let me write it down. Integration. I don't use in my work right now the word healing. I don't use in my work right now the word fixing. Even transforming I use with caution. I use the word integration, because for me, the word integration is more about what we need to do there. Because integration is not fixing. If you're coming there inside of your own psyche, into those layers, with the agenda of I'll integrate, I'll fix everything, I'll heal everything, it means that you feel like you are not whole right now. You're going there with the suppression. You want to suppress something. This is your agenda. If you say, I want to heal that part, it means that part is not valid right now. It's not true right now. I want to get rid of it actually, but I call it healing. This is what we do. We lie to ourselves like that. Because we want to get rid of it, because we are scared of getting to that spot in our trauma where everything was so scary and unbearable, where we fragmented ourselves. To get there into that spot is so scary for us that we create a lot of excuses. We are telling a lot of things to ourselves that we can't, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And that gives us a lot of, feeling of, oh, I'm doing a lot of work, but nothing happens. So that is coming out of it. So this is a very deep work. And we are going today into the integration process. We will talk about the second eye right now, about the integration. So once we've walked through the trauma floor, and you understand what it is, but as I told you, if you don't understand, it's okay. Let's move to the direction about the integration. So integration, it's when you first see that part that is vulnerable inside, see that part that is beyond all those levels, all those layers, and you can see that first with the intention of seeing. It sounds like pretty simple, just see it. But we cannot see it in this way, usually. We are trying to see something to fix it, as I told you, to get rid of it, to be better, to be a better version of ourselves, because that's how our society is formed. It is formed on shame. So we are ashamed of some parts of us. We are ashamed that those parts are not taken into considerations and so on. And that way, when we understand that we need just to face that part without looking away, this is the first thing that changes everything. So integration cycle is contact, release, and unity. 3 words: contact, release, unity. So first you make contact, then you release the build-up energy there, and then you unify. That is an integration cycle that is happening inside of us if we are doing the work. So the first part that is called contact, it's the part that I've explained to you right now, that you need to see that part without the agenda of fixing it, changing it, doing something to it. It's just seeing. And it comes with practice or with the guide that can help you to do that work, because usually we are running away from it. I had a friend who went on a Vipassana journey, and she said that I was sitting there for 8 days and still I feel that I didn't face myself. Sitting there in total silence for 8 days didn't make me face myself openly. I was still running away from who I am. And we dived into that work already later with the method of 3 eyes. And we did that cycle of integration. And we did the contact, the release, and the unity. And this is an amazing and profound and deep work. So I will explain that today. You'll identify the parts of yourself you still resist meeting, the parts you push away. Then we'll go through the experience with the focused exercise. Yeah, I've prepared a focused exercise for you to see how that cycle works in reality, that contact, that release, and that unity. So if you stay with me, just prepare some space where you can be alone, and you don't need any extra space. You just need a chair, or you even can be standing. It doesn't matter, because some people, they say, oh, I have only a bathroom. You can go to the bathroom. It's fine. I don't want to force you to be in a meditative pose or laying down perfectly and so on. We don't need that. We just need a space where you will feel safe. That's it. So we'll do an exercise. We'll pick the part you want to face, and we'll go through that process. I will just show you how it can be done. as a first like example of how the integration works itself when it's done in the way of the method of 3 I's. So it's contact, it's release, and it's unify. 3 steps: you make contact, you release, you unify. So this is what we will do. And let's also understand how to pick up the part that you want to meet today. If yesterday you didn't watch the session, so you can do what you can do today. You can think of a problem right now that you are facing. Maybe you have money problems. Maybe you have some question about your health. Maybe you have something about your relationships. So then ask yourself inside, so I have this problem. What is my symptom here? I've explained to you that, okay, I have bad relationships. Why is it bad? What do you feel about this relationship? Okay, for example, they don't hear me. My partner doesn't hear me. If you feel like your partner doesn't hear you, if you really feel it, what comes up? You can feel, okay, my partner doesn't hear me and I feel invisible. And I don't want to feel invisible. So that's it. You don't need to do anything else. You will just today dive deeper into that part that feels invisible and that doesn't want to be unseen. So that's it. That's all you need to do for today, because we will dive into that work of reconnecting with that part. And this is simple. Keep it simple. Don't make it overcomplicated. So just think of the problem. Ask yourself, what do you feel there? If you need any help, just let me know. I will help you right now. So if you understand that you have there some part that doesn't want to feel something, ask why. And then you will get to the spot where you'll feel where you don't want to dive, where you don't want to end up. Okay, I don't want to be unseen. That's it. There is a part that feels unseen, and that's why you don't want to get there again. So that will be our process for today. We will just do the practice with that part. How I have never heard of that before. That's a much better way to see it. Wow, integration fixing. Yes, you've never heard about that before, because me neither. Let me explain a little bit about the method of 3 I's. I'm from Ukraine. I live in United States for a long time already. I came before the war, before everything. That's what was my choice to live here. And but I'm Ukrainian, and I was working with Ukrainian people for a long time. And when the war started, I was focused on Ukrainians for a long time because I wanted to help them, obviously. So I've taught the method of 3 I's there. I have a very big Instagram account. It's more than 300,000 followers there. I have a big community there, and I have a lot of materials in Ukrainian and so on. And that is already a very big community. And I can say that I've done the work there, and I feel like I have a lot of people that can help using the method of 3 I's in Ukraine right now, and I need to focus where I live. And I live in Los Angeles, I live in the United States, and I just want to continue that work here. That's why we have the first workshop, the first introduction to the method of 3 I's, and you can hear more and more about it, because obviously there will be more content about it, so you are absolutely welcome. Method of 3 I's, it's not something that was there. It's something I've created. That's why you didn't hear about it before. And it is created on the grounds of my deep work that I have. I was before a person who worked with people who had some problems with compulsive overeating, who had bulimia, who had some disorders, eating disorders. So that was my priority for a long time. I like that field, and I've stayed there for a long time. I also helped a lot of women who were going on a competition. It is called Fitness Bikini. They were showing their bodies, and I was preparing the menus for them so they can follow the recipes and get into that process and so on. It doesn't much matter, but at one moment, I felt that a lot of people are coming back to me. So I'm working with them. I'm working with the part of food. Yeah, I'm creating the recipes and menus and so on. But people are still coming back. And that was the sign for me that something is wrong. That, okay, I'm telling them that this is the way you are doing this work, I'm explaining everything, and still they can't do that by their own. That's where I've tried a lot to dive deeper in the psychology of behavioral psychology, and a lot of this stuff connected with food, with the nutrition, and with all that. So that led me bit by bit to understand that everything is not in the way we eat. Everything is why do we eat like that, and the why is hidden in our subconscious mind. Then I've started to work as a hypnotherapist, and I'm a licensed hypnotherapist. So that was a part of my journey there, where I've stayed for a long period of time helping people to dive deeper into their subconscious and to find those underlying beliefs and so on. But still, I felt that something is missing. There is no, like a guideline where I can, okay, I have a problem, what to do with that. Okay, there is hypnotherapy, there is NLP, there is like ancestral work, there is this and that and that and that, but nothing that can show me how I actually do the work. So I was lost there by myself, and I was diving and asking my inner world to give me the answers. And I was working a lot in that direction. Once I was standing in the field of my client. I was working with my client, an energetical field, I mean. So I'm going to a neutral position when I work with the client. And that's how I'm like connected with the client in that process. And being there in their field and helping them to do the work, I suddenly got that feeling that a lot of information is coming through me. A lot of information is like downloading to me. And then I was writing for 6 hours, just taking it all out, like a free writing. And when I just reread that, I understood that there is a guideline of how to do the work. So I just do the steps, I wrote the steps, I've started to work with that scheme, and I've realized that I have the method. And I've called it the method of 3 eyes because I've seen those 3 stepping stones. And with all that, the method was created, and I've started to work with my clients using this method. And then my clients asked me to teach them how to use this method on themselves. I did that. And then those people asked me how to use this method on their own clients. There were a lot of psychologists there who wanted to use that method for their practices. And that's how it all went out into the big course where I am teaching people to become the experts on the method of 3 eyes, and they use that method like an addition to their work, or like the self-standing discipline on itself. So that's what it is in short words, yeah, to explain everything in short words. That's why you didn't hear about it here, because I was totally doing that for Ukrainian people, because I felt like these are my roots. I'm from Ukraine. So I felt like I had to be there with them to help people to go through that very difficult period of time. So basically, now you know this story. So I have a question. There is a person asking, I feel comfortable staying in my pain. That loyalty to suffering is real, because if my family's pain was greater, I can generate emotional pain myself. I can suffer for love, cling to someone, listen to sad songs, drink wine, anything to avoid feeling the pain that it's over, to avoid asking who I am without this person. I feel betrayed, lost, abandoned, like in childhood. My whole body hurts from accumulated hurts and resentments. And I can tell you that, yes, sometimes we feel loyal to the pain. We feel loyal to the pain because that loyalty keeps us in our family. So our family can suffer a lot, and we can have ancestors who were suffering. And that loyalty to suffering can be so real because we feel connection. Sometimes that pain that you feel, it is a reflection of your loyalty. And why do we need that loyalty in the first place? And if you use the method and if you go deeper, usually you'll find the answer that we need that loyalty because without it, my family didn't accept me. There is an experience of being not accepted by the family. Then you get that suffering as a pattern, suffering as a way of showing them that you are with them. I had a client who had that with depressive moods. She said, everybody in my family is depressive. And staying depressive helps me to sort of be in that vibe all of the time. Hello. And when I'm in that vibe all of the time, I can feel like connected. I can feel like they understand me. Because once, when she separated herself from the family, she was doing the work with the psychologist, and they did the work like, okay, you need that separation. You need to feel your own feelings. You're not your mommy. You're not your daddy anymore. So she was very like a mommy's and daddy's girl. And she did the work. And then she came to a family reunion. It was like some kind of a, I'm from Ukraine. Hello. So it was like some kind of a family reunion. And she said that I felt so lost there. I felt like they don't need me anymore. That when I'm happy, nobody needs me. And all her patterns start to surface back again. And she said, like, I felt like all the work that I did is useless, but actually it's not. She was doing the work with a psychologist that showed her that she had that enmeshment trauma, that she's too connected to the parents, to the people around her, to her family, and she cannot feel herself separate, from them. And that's why for her it was so painful. But the work with the psychologist didn't address the problem itself, the underlying symptom of it all. And the underlying symptom and the underlying thing inside, it was about that feeling of not being accepted if you are all right, because her parents were always like, whining about something. They were telling, oh, the government is not good enough, the system is not good enough, nobody's taking care about poor people, and so on. And she felt like this mentality is the doorway to the acceptance. That's how she felt, that she's accepted only when she's connected to their pain, to their suffering. And guys, it feels so real when you are there. It feels like, okay, I am the suffering. I am that pain. And I cannot abandon that pain. If I abandon that pain, I will have to abandon my parents. I will have to face who am I without them. That's the catcher. That's the thing that we don't want to see. The thing that if I am separate from them, I have to feel what it is to be separate. I have to feel that separation that I couldn't tolerate being a kid. And I couldn't tolerate that because when I was happy, they didn't understand me. They told those stories like, if you laugh a lot, you'll cry a lot. There is like a proverb like that. If you laugh a lot, you'll cry a lot. They didn't allow her to like go nuts, have fun. They were saying, you are having too much energy. You need to do sports. It's sad. Yeah. And that sadness is because when you are in that dynamics, if you don't have a guidance, if you don't have a tool, you can get stuck there for a long time. And you can really think that you are that pain and suffering. But the only way to get out of there is to face it, is to do the first I, the identification process, then the second I, the integration process. Connect, release, unify. And then it is initiation, where you initiate, not close your eyes and create something that wasn't there. Like, some people think that initiation process is like to create some experience that wasn't there. Oh, if my daddy left me, I'll create a daddy that will stay. No, this is a lie. And usually that lie leads to more and more sadness and frustration. But I'm telling that initiation process is something different. I'll teach you about the initiation tomorrow. But today, we are going to our inner parts that were left behind. We'll practice returning the parts. And you'll notice how it feels to do the integration process in your body, how it feels to be seen, how it feels to release something that needs to be released, and how to go back to the unity. I just say back because we all came from the unity. So this is it actually. Yeah. Do you have any questions about the parts? Do you have any questions about the parts, about the way you can choose the part today to work with? Can you tell me, please? Okay, do you have the questions? Let me know if you have the questions. I told you how to identify the part with which you can work today. Choose a problem in your life. Ask, what do you feel there? If your problem is I don't have enough money, what do I feel there? I feel like I can't cope. I feel like I'm not good enough. Okay, if you are not good enough, then what? If I'm not good enough, then I'm not loved. And we will go to that part that feels not loved. This is it. Keep it simple. So the problem is something you want to eliminate. I want to get rid of my nervous tick. That actually was the question with which one client came to me. He said that I have a nervous tick, like, you know, the eyebrow is going like this. So for that client, he wanted to get rid of the nervous tick. But wanting to eliminate your tick is like banishing a soldier who once risked life. And that soldier was defending your castle. And you are saying, oh, I don't need you, go away. That's what actually is happening usually in the self-help field. People are coming to coaches, to practitioners, to therapists to get rid of something. And it's like, really, somebody risked their own life to save you, and you say like, okay, disappear. The 3 eyes method invites you to shift your relationship with the symptom. It's a part of you that's still wanting to be met, not fixed or explained. It needs to be met. Your nervous tick, for instance, erupted because in childhood you felt unheard, unloved, and the tension had to go somewhere. So you had so much tension. It's an example, yeah? You had so much tension of being not loved, not felt. And that guy, he had parents who wanted straight A's from him, who wanted him to be in college. And that's not bad, but they've put a lot of pressure there. And he couldn't express his pressure because they told him, you're a man, you're a future man, you can't cry. What's the whining? Get yourself together. That's the real thing that's going on a lot. And if it hadn't go out, it might have exploded inside him. And that tick was his protector, his soldier, ready to sacrifice itself for him. And when he says, oh, go away, he's rejecting not the surface symptom, but the deeper story, the childhood tension, the feeling of unworthiness and fear of abandonment. And he's just rejecting those parts. He's saying, I don't want to see you guys. I just want the tick to go away. And with the tick going away, he's losing that thread that connects the tick with those deeper inner parts. But the thing is that they will find another way. If you, for example, control that tick like a symptom with pills, and your tick disappears, with the disappearance of that tick, you will have something bigger. It can be other symptom, physical one. It can be a tantrum. It can be depression. It can be a lot of stuff. So the point is, the goal isn't to eradicate the tick, but to see what's behind it. It's an invitation to meet the parts of yourself you've been blocking or hating. We often hear, let it go, like Elsa, let it go. Yeah, you know that song. Release. Let go your childhood. But the 3 eyes method doesn't abandon. It returns. If you truly want to let go, first, draw it close. If you really want to let go, first, draw it close. That's the paradox. If you know about the power of paradoxes, this is it. So many key elements here function by embracing the very thing you wish to release. In Method of Three Eyes, you are on a journey of embracing something without the need of releasing it, and it will release itself. That's the paradox. Not wanting to release is letting you to release. Wanting to release is stopping you from releasing it, because when you want to release it, you have a lot of tension, pressure that you put there, oppositional forces. And the opposition creates more opposition. There is no other way. So here is the paradox. To let something go, you first have to draw it close. Why? Because you need to uncover why you can't release it, what you are afraid of, what story lives inside you. So this step is critical. You intentionally pull that part of yourself toward you, the very part you've been trying to get rid of, by calling it a problem. So even when you call something a problem, you are trying to get rid of it. Just name it a problem. Inside of the word, there is that energy of getting rid of it. That's the first thing, to stop calling problems problems. So if you want a word that I use the word invitation. Oh, I have an invitation today. Yeah, so when I really feel something big and I'm like, okay, I have an invitation today. Let's get into it. I have a very, very important one. The bigger the feeling is, the bigger the invitation is inside. So the goal isn't to eradicate. It's an invitation. Yeah? You need to uncover why. The deep truth for today is this. What you're ashamed of is not a defect. What you want to eliminate, what you've labeled a problem, is not a problem. Extra weight isn't a defect. Alcoholism isn't something that is like a bad thing. It is for your health, but we are not talking about like your health and so on. We are talking about the thing itself, the aspects you are desperate to get rid of. Self-doubt, shyness, oversensitivity. They're just parts of you that didn't survive your personal story. They didn't survive your personal story. They're simply covering up the real pain beneath. That's what they're doing. What you call wrong is actually a certain strength of yours, just turned inward. What you've hidden for years doesn't need to stay in the dark. That's a vital layer atop the trauma itself, atop of it. So, it's very important to see when we reunite with something that we wanted to get rid of, we feel that home feeling. That's the deep work I'm inviting you into. In childhood, we all learned to survive and adapt by building an ego that felt safe enough to keep us included in some family dynamic, in some system, in a school, in friends dynamic, and everything that didn't fit that image got repressed, hidden, or declared, it's not me, it's not me. Sometimes we can be very social, very active, very nice, very caring, very loving, but all that a facade, because we've created that facade to be included in the society. She abandoned me, or maybe I feel like she's abandoning me and she doesn't talk to me for a period of time. This is called a silent treatment. If you have a silent treatment, this is a very strong manipulative technique. That manipulative technique makes you to doubt your own thoughts, your own behaviors, your own conclusions, your own feelings. This is really painful. And I can tell that in United States and in my country, in Ukraine, so the silent treatment was a very, very oftenly used technique in families with kids. So like, okay, You did something. I don't like what you did. I'm not like screaming and shouting at you. I'm just giving you a silent treatment. And it's more than words. There is a video in my feed. I don't remember. I think it was posted long ago. So I will tell you what it is. There is a social experiment that was done with children. So there is a child and a mommy sitting in front of them. A child like maybe 1 year old. And the child has toys around, and that mommy first is included in the toy. In the game, I mean. So mommy is like smiling, included, like I'm here, yeah, and the child is absolutely happy, and they feel amazing. But then mommy turns away and then turns back like this. And she's like present. She's looking at the child, but not communicating with them, not going into the process. She's like there and not there. And the child starts to scream. The child starts to try to wake her up, to make her be present, because that is an absolute fear of that child, the fear of abandonment. Because we are social beings, we need to be included. And the ignorance of a parent, the silent treatment of the parent, is the most dangerous thing. I don't know the first part of your message. Maybe you were texting something else, but I've seen that part of she's not talking to me. That's what it is, basically. How can I stuff to your power when you live in the wounded girl from all your life? Trying to heal your trauma, but I still living from this place. From your power yet. Maybe because you're afraid of your power more because you used to your pain, so the pain looks familiar to you. This is an important thing you said there. So, but I will say one thing. But in the same time, you're stuck because you're not living yet. Obviously, yeah. One thing that I want to say here is that when you are saying that you are afraid of your own power, it's not the case. You are scared not of your own power, but the consequences that this power can lead to. So if your power is like being loud, active, open-hearted, being like, everywhere and all at once, you have a lot of energy, and that's your natural self, you're scared not of that power, but of consequences. If I am loud, somebody can shut me down. Somebody can hurt me. Somebody can laugh at me. Somebody can reject me. They can see who I really am and just say no to me. And that no feels so bad because when I was a little girl, they told me no, and that no I couldn't tolerate, and I've created that protective mechanism. So basically, that's what it is. We never are afraid of our own power. Never. We're afraid of the consequences of using it. So, and your own power, it's not some superiority. Your own power, it's your own self, the real self. When we are born, we desperately need a mirror. To understand who we are, we need a mirror that is standing in front of us and we can see ourselves in that mirror. And that mirror are our parents. Our parents, they are saying basically who we are to us. They are reflecting who we are. So if we laugh and they say, oh, you're so precious, you're like, how I'm precious? If you laugh and they say, oh, you're too loud, oh my God, I'm bad. Because that period of time helps us to understand who we really are in this physical incarnation. So we are sort of swallowing that mirror, and we are saying, okay, this is me, this is who I am. What I first said was whenever we have, okay, I lived with weak parent and so controlling. When you have a weak parent, usually you grow up fast and you abandon your child self because you need to be a little adult for your parents. And what can it lead to? It's not, I'm not talking that it is your case. I'm just telling you the possibility. To what can it lead to? It can lead to emotional immaturity. You can be so mature being a kid that you're so immature being an adult, but you're hiding that because you're ashamed of it. Because everything that you haven't expressed, it's not gone. It's still there. So when there is a parent who is weak and cannot take care of the family, for example, there is a mom, but she cannot be a mom because she's suffering because her husband left her and she is collapsing there, and she has a daughter that takes over and says, okay, I'm going to take care of you, mom, because if I won't, you'll die, but I cannot let you die because I'm dependent on you. And it's sort of a unhealthy way of connection that they make there. And a little girl starts to be like a mom to her own mom. And in that process, she abandons her own feelings because she now has to have the feelings of an adult. But those girlish feelings, they're not going anywhere. So that's why when she's an adult, she has a husband already. She can feel like he's hurting her, like with anything. He's saying something and she's like, oh, I'm about to cry. Or she is angry on the opposite. A lot of anger can come out. Why? Because all that suppressed pain is still there. Anger is the emotion that is covered up for pain. Under anger is always hurt or fear or both. Usually both. Like I'm hurt and I'm scared to be hurt, to stay hurt. So that's why there is anger that is a cover up for that emotion. Okay. I have a problem with anything that she's doing, and I vocal about it. She talks to me for a period of time, and once she feels that this conversation is going nowhere, or she feels that she doesn't want to talk more about it, she tends to leave me in the middle of the conversation and walk away and just never come back. And this is never getting fixed. This feels like a punishment to me, where I have an issue and I'm being punished. That's what actually she's doing. She's showing you that you are punished, because the way a mature adult is acting, they come to you and they solve the problem. And if they can't, they can say, okay, I'm here also overwhelmed. I don't know what to respond. And I need some time to process what you've said, and I will get back to you. But the person who is emotionally immature, if you're talking about your mom, she's emotionally immature in this situation because she's leaving you there and giving you a silent treatment. This is an emotional immaturity. And at that point, of course, obviously, you can feel inadequate. You can feel like something is wrong with you. Because I will tell you one thing. We are programmed to feel like something is wrong with us. I mean kids. So kids, they tend to blame themselves. Why? Because we have a blueprint. The blueprint that makes this physical reality a physical reality. So in that blueprint, there is a belief that this is real, because obviously, yeah, we know that it's not very real, that this experience we are creating. So in this physical creation, we have that blueprint that is lying very, very deep inside of us, in unconscious part of us. And there is also an instinct to always rely on parents. Like they are more important than us, because on them our survival depends. So we can't make them wrong inside of ourselves. Even if our mind can say, my mom is stupid, she's so stupid, oh my God. We can say that in our mind. But in our inner world, there is the alarm system that goes off and says, no, 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 no. This is not the way it should be. So you start to blame yourself in this situation, not because you are bad or weak. Because a lot of my clients, that they also make this conclusion: if I cannot confront my parent and say that they are wrong and I am not, I am weak. It's not the real deal here. So what are we talking about here? If you have this silent treatment, if you still live with the parent and you are dependent on them, of course, if you put the boundaries up, it's a very good thing to do. But basically, right now, you are being re-traumatized over and over again. You are in the situation where you are every day, every time, having the same experience over and over again. And the understanding of that experience is also a trauma response, because you're coping with that experience with the help of understanding, and that's okay. Use it for now. So understand whose responsibility is where, why, what is not done by a parent that it's supposed to be done and why. That explanation helps your psyche to really feel the ground, because that's how you stay in your own like body. You will not get out of that body and disappear from your body, because this is what happens when we have some re-traumatization all of the time. You can desensitize yourself and just like going away the next time, and you're still like still standing there, but you're not there. It's not with your parents, but it's with my girl, fiance. Been able to concentrate. Okay, then if it is not your parent, if it is your person whom you chose for the partner, then you need to talk to her. You need to talk to her, not from the position you are wrong, but from the position, that's what I feel here. You are abandoning me here, and that's how it feels. And obviously you need to work on your own feeling there, your own part that feels abandoned, inadequate, and so on. And maybe you'll get into the understanding that you already had that before, that abandonment, that it's repeating itself in your life. You are recreating the same experience, but already with a girlfriend. I haven't been able to concentrate with anything. Oh, okay. Okay. So if you haven't been able to concentrate with anything, just start doing the work that I'm telling you here. Yeah, I do that several times, yet she tends to block me everywhere, and I will have no contact with her unless she wants to have contact with me. So you may be having a dynamics of an avoidant partner. So she's avoiding you, and it's her safe spot. To avoid you makes her feel safe, but that safety is not actually real. That safety is a safety that is created by her psyche, that the further away I'm from the person I love, for example, yeah, in a difficult situation, the more safe I am. Because if you are a child of avoidant parents, that's the strategy you take in with your childhood altogether. And you can be an anxious partner at that point. So you need that reconnection. And the more you are going to her, towards her, the more she's going away from her. This is like a chasing game. You're chasing her all the way around, and both of you feel insecure. Both of you feel unsafe. So if I were you, I would have done the work, what I'm telling you to do about the method of 3 eyes, of integrating and understanding why am I anxious there? What do I feel? What does it look like? Like I'm in my childhood with what? And like I will go through all of that. And I will just sit and talk to her. What's going on there? So I've done the work. I feel this and this and this. And I feel like here, this and this and this. So the clear communication helps a lot. And of course, her willingness to do the work herself. That is the only solution. You cannot make a person to do the work, and you cannot force her into the work. But this is how the relationships between an avoidant and an anxious partner look like. It's a very common thing. One is running away in conflict situations, and another one needs just right now to solve the problem because they feel absolute havoc wrecking like inside of them, because, oh my goodness, I am dying if I don't know the answer, if I don't know what you feel, if I don't know what you think. It usually comes from unsafe home, where parents were unstable, where they can just like create some kind of a drama, and you just hate silence because that silence can create something unsafe for you. It's one way of creating that dynamic. So it can be a lot of different things for her and for you, but obviously you are running to her to solve your discomfort, and she's running away from you to solve her discomfort. This is what you're doing. This is a coping mechanism. Okay, guys. Okay, let's do the practice. That's what I want to do right now. But before we do the practice, I want to give you 10 signs. 10 signs that you are right now in the stage of doing some inner work with yourself. So 10 signs that can really help you understand what is it all about, to understand where you can focus your attention. Why I'm giving them? Because some people really know their problem. Like, for example, this problem with the fiance. But some people, they don't know. They say, I feel like something is off the rails in my life, but I don't know what. I feel like I have everything, but what's the problem? I feel everything, but I'm not happy. I feel everything, but I'm not like fulfilled, or I don't feel like myself lately, or I have the middle age crisis, or so on. So let me give you science, some science, yeah? Some science that probably you have some subconscious, active subconscious blocks that you can identify right now. So the first sign is sabotage. I have a video on YouTube that is called "There is no such thing as sabotage," that sabotage doesn't exist. Why? Because sabotage is basically when you have that traumatic floor of trauma, and one part of you is trying to do something and another says, no, I don't want it. For example, you want to do the project, but you have a traumatized part of yourself that says, oh no, that project means that we will show up, that we will be present, that we will talk to the audience, and people can reject me, people can turn away from me. So no, we won't do that. So you see that sabotage isn't actually a sabotage. It's a protective mechanism that is going on when you have a trigger. So if you long for change but keep postponing action, if you buy courses but you're not going through them, if you start doing the work but then you find some other things to do, this is a very important part of your life where you can look at yourself and can look deeper and understand that sabotage is just the surfacing of your trauma that needs to be addressed. Then if you have feeling of not good enough, so if you have that feeling, even with achievements, you believe you don't deserve them. Even if everything is fine, I look fine, I'm normal, I'm nice, but still I feel like I'm not good enough to get what I want, to get the life that I want, to get the understanding that I want, and so on. All the not good enoughness is coming from trauma. I haven't seen any not good enoughness that is coming from something that is not trauma. Because we are born with the full understanding that we are enough the way we are. But after that, we are coming to the situations where we are taught to believe that we are not. We are taught to believe that we are not good enough for the job that we want. We are not good enough for the society that we want to live in. We are not good enough for our parents to be proud of us. We need some achievements. We need to be nice, good, smiling, and so on. So we can't be ourselves. We are not enough as we are. And you know, the main block that all my clients have with that not good enoughness is that feeling, if I accept that I'm good enough, I will just sit on the couch and watch Netflix and I will not do anything. So they believe that their motivation comes out of self-improvement, constant need of self-improvement. But that is not the pure motivation, that is fear. That's what we were talking about. The way that people are doing the work and coming to the spiritual field, usually it's the way that I want to fix myself, improve myself, be a better version of myself, be a better me, better, and better. And that is why there is a feeling of not good enoughness underneath, but that feeling is not addressed because all those people, they say that if I accept it, if I really say that I'm good enough, I will not do anything. But it's not true. When you really feel that you're good enough for anything, your inner self starts to bloom. You start to feel like, oh, this is what I want to do in my life. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is fulfilling. And all that interest starts to come out of love. That passion is coming out of love only when you feel that you're good enough. All the rest is a fear-based motivation. The third thing that I want to mention right now, fear of visibility. If you want to avoid showing up in work, in relationships, in daily life, if you avoid in really showing up in your relationships because you are scared to be visible, this is the way you just postpone your life. And it can be done in different ways. You can be a very good social member. You can be a nice mom in the community, or a very good dad, or an amazing coworker. You can be fine and nice and loving and caring and reliable, but there is no you inside. Because that you doesn't exist. You just like suppress that you've created a facade that is accepted because you have fear of being visible, because you know inside on a deeper level that who you are is not accepted. Your parents didn't accept you the way you were. They wanted you to be someone. They wanted you to be nice, good, loving, caring, whatever. Then the fourth is the fear of success. Actually, it's the fear of what success will bring, fear of change itself. We are not scared of success. Nobody is. We can name it with this big word saying, oh, I'm scared of success. No. Guys, we are not scared of success. We are scared of change. When I'm successful, I won't be able to sit anymore like next to my pool and drink a cup of coffee. I'll be doing some important stuff, or I'll have a lot of responsibility. If I'm successful, I'll have a lot of responsibility. Or this is the part that I love the most. A lot of my clients, they say, if I'm successful, I'll have a lot that can be taken away from me. Somebody can come and take it away. They can rob me, they can betray me, they can be with me because of my success. I won't have any mutual friends, any real friends, because everybody will lie in my face, they will use me, abandon me, and it will be all around my success. That's what a lot of people are scared of. And they think like it because they've seen it in their childhood, in the movies, in the books, in their parents' behaviors, attitudes, and so on. Fifth, chronic procrastination. I've seen it a lot, and people say, I'm a chronic procrastinator. This is just who I am. No, guys. This is whom you chose to be because you had to respond to a trauma that you have. Chronic procrastination can show up in a very interesting way. Chronic procrastination can show up when you prioritize someone else's needs, but not yours. So you're actually doing a lot, but you're procrastinating your own agenda. So why is it so? Beneath the chronic procrastination, you can find fear. Fear is the engine for it. So this is where you need to look deep inside of you. Then we have repetitive patterns. If you have repetitive patterns anywhere in your relationships, for example, you keep on meeting narcissists, or you keep on getting married and then divorced, and it's like a never-ending cycle. So life seems to go in circles. Only the scenery changes, the setup changes, but the plot is the same. It means that your psyche is trying to get your attention and to show you something inside that needs to be released. And released in an integrative way. When you see it, not to fix it, but you see it, then you can release what is there on an energetic level. How many emotions we suppress, guys. You cannot even imagine that. Because when I'm working with people, I see that even a person who is doing the breath work, who is meditating, who is running, who is boxing, and they are like absolutely fine and absolutely easy, and they feel lightweight. But when we go deeper into that part of them that was hurt and that is still there, being a child, there are a lot of emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of fear, a lot of tears, a lot. So if you have repetitive patterns, that's a sign that you need to work on yourself. Then self-criticism. If you keep on criticizing yourself, You keep on missing the point. That inner critic is just, it wants you to see that something is out of alignment in yourself. That inner critic, usually it's a parent's voice that we internalize. And that internal critic, it's usually louder than any praise. It means that somewhere we abandoned ourselves. And it's an invitation to see where we started to treat ourselves like our parents, instead of treating ourselves like we want to treat ourselves. So this is also the sign to go deeper inside of yourself. Then relationship struggles, obviously partners who don't support or sometimes demean you, or partners that simply not there for you, and you are in a relationship with yourself. Maybe it's a partner who is absent in their own body, and you have those struggles, not understandings, and this is the sign of start to look deeper inside of you. What is there that needs to be seen? Chronic fatigue, no obvious reason. Burnout is a sign you're not where you belong. Burnout is a sign that you didn't choose yourself. You chose somebody else's priorities, needs, and not your own. Feeling stuck, no sense of forward movement in finances, relationships. You don't have a purpose, you don't have decisions, you're not making the decisions. It is that stuckness that says to you that, come on, if you feel stuck, it means that something inside of you is inviting you to have a tea together. So if you see just a few of those in yourself, it means you're projecting old fears onto your life screen. You're the creator of your own reality. And right now, if you see that, your task is not to start fixing it and saying, oh my gosh, I have all of them. I have 10 of them. Oh, that's bad. No. Your task here is to start turning towards yourself. So when you work with those parts, not on those parts, when you work with them, when you start to meet them, when you start to see them, everything changes. We can't become whole until we meet the parts we've been fleeing from, those aspects we've labeled useless or survival threatening. In meeting them, you discover both your lost resources and your true power. So there are a lot of lost resources because wearing a mask, guys, is so exhausting. And holding that mask in place drains immense energy. You can be tired just because of it. It hurts. It's costly. It's hard. And it steals your life force. And if you start really understanding that the easiest way to live your life is to be yourself, that's where all the change is coming from. So let's approach our integration process. I'll start the music. So you'll hear an amazing music for our practice. Right now, we'll do the practice with you. Yeah, amazing music for our practice. Okay, but for some reason I can't start the music from here. And I think I will not be able to start it from here. Okay, doesn't matter. We don't need music. We can do it without the music. I have the music prepared for it, but if I turn it on, if I turn that music on, you'll hear like an echo of my words. So let's do it without the music. So let's do the practice, guys. The integrative practice that we can do today. Oh, sorry, I have your comments right now. Okay. How to overcome the fear. I can tell you one thing. You need to really see that you want to overcome fear. You don't need to overcome it. If you want to overcome something, the paradox is you need to understand why you want to overcome it. So the why of overcoming it is the most important thing that gives you an answer. You get it? Because you want to overcome it not to feel it. I want to overcome fear because I don't want to feel that fear because it is making me blah, blah, blah. And this is the way to see that there are parts of you that need attention, that you need to come back to yourself and understand why you feel it, why you have it. And when you are struggling and saying, I want to overcome it, I want to get rid of it, I want to just like stop this. This is the thing, the place where you will not get what you want. You will get more fear. You can tell me, Lana, but I can't agree. Because if I have a fear of, for example, I have a fear of riding a bicycle. The more I ride a bicycle, the more I'm overcoming my fear. And this is also true for the things that have that natural fear. So if you have the natural fear of heights, you can overcome it by dosing those heights little by little and increasing the dose, and at some point you'll feel better when you have some heights in front of you. But when we are talking about the fear of, for example, of success, that is actually a fear of unknown. If you give yourself little by little more fear of unknown, actually you will trigger yourself more. And you will go into a compensatory mechanism. So the way to deal with fear is to understand it, to pull it closer. Why do I have it? What is the reason? What is the explanation? And really that desire to see what it is, this is the game changer. If you don't have that desire to see what it is, it will make you obviously go against the current. And that going against the current will create more current that is going towards you. The way to do the work is to ask a question, why? That's the first step. Not to ask the question how to get rid of it, but why do I have it? Okay? So let's do the first practice. I've told you how to choose the problem. What are your feelings about that problem? Just right now, start to relax. Start to be more in your body, because when we were talking, mostly you were in your head, in your thoughts, in your explanations. And as I told you, very often it's a trauma response. I want to explain myself everything. When I have the explanation, I can do more. When I have an explanation, I can understand more. Now just relax into not having the explanation. So just relax. Just relax into the feeling that right now you don't need to do anything with the part we're about to meet. Find some curiosity in your body. That curiosity to meet that part that is inside of you. Just find that curiosity that is there. To meet the part that you have right now. And the most important thing here is to really feel that you have that curiosity in a natural way inside of you. That curiosity was always there. That curiosity is there as a life force. Just stay connected to that part, to that curiosity. And being focused on that curiosity, being there inside of it, Feel that there is a part of you that needs to be met right now. Without fixing. That you are so curious to see what it is. And at this very moment, start to feel it arising. Because when you give that energy of true curiosity, readiness to see it, readiness to feel it, readiness to understand it, when you give this energy, something inside of you that needs this energy the most starts to react. This is physics. Let yourself feel that part of you that right now really wants to be seen like this, with a curiosity, natural life force. It so desperately needs that life force. And feel like it pops up on the surface of your awareness. What is that part? Can you look at this part with a little bit more kindness and openness? Can you get yourself a permission? Give yourself a permission to look at this part, not trying to change it, not trying to fix it. Just the way you look at the dolphins or at the birds. There's a bird flying over you and you just look at it. You give it your attention, undivided, unrestricted, pure, curious attention. You admire it. You see it. And now turn that attention and energy towards that part that emerged itself. That emerged itself for that glance that you can give it. Like a beautiful dance. You just look at it. You just create a contact with this part, whatever it is. In my example, it was the part that was scared to be unseen. So now, if I give this part that glance of curious life force through that glance, if I give that part that place where it can be seen, at that moment when I create it, and that moment when this space is there, a safe space that is created for that glance, for that contact, this part can really be seen for the first time. And now put your focus into that part. You can remain that glance that is looking at that part, that energy that this part is seen, But now put yourself into the awareness of that part that wanted that contact, that wanted to be seen. And let yourself feel everything it feels. At this moment, your body can shake. It can start moving, or it can be frozen. Let your body right now, with this point, express the feelings of this part. You have that release mode. That part doesn't have any other expression except your body. And you're now given this part a body. And this part feels that it is seen. This part feels curiosity and a life force coming out of that glance. And right now, having all that, that part can express itself. If it wants to, it doesn't need to. Stand in the awareness of that part. Just feel what that part has to say. Be the channel through which this part is expressing itself unconditionally. Become this channel just for a second. Let this part express itself through you. Maybe you want to move your hands. Maybe you want to stretch it out. Maybe you want to shake. Maybe you'll give a yawn. Give yourself a permission right now to be the channel for that part. And right now, give all your attention to the feeling to be this part right now. You are this part. And now, feel that there is that glance with that life force, with that undivided attention. That glance that gives you that feeling of being seen for the way you are. And at the same time, you have a safe container of the body. It's yours right now. You can express yourself through that container. Just be with it. Focus on that feeling. Give yourself that permission. If your focus is wandering, it means that you're not given it a permission to stay. If you're given a permission to stay in this part that wanted to be seen so desperately, this permission is helping you to stay embodied, to stay inside, to be there. Just feel it. Whatever is there, it's okay. Inhale and exhale. And if you feel like at this very moment, this part released everything that it wanted to release, you can start feeling some needs that this part has. Where is it in your body, that need? Maybe this is the need of attention. Maybe this is the need of connection. Maybe this is the need to be safe. Be in this part, ask yourself, what is it? Where is it inside of you, in your body? You are now fully owning the body. And if you know where is it in the body, put your hands on that spot, if it is a spot. Maybe it's your throat, and there is a need to say something, to be heard. Maybe it's your chest, and there is a need to be loved. Maybe it's your legs, and there is a need to move forward. You don't need to do anything right now. Just feel. Just connect. Just be there. And feel what's going to happen when this need is met. When this need is fully met, what this part of you will do. Will it merge with the rest of you? Will it integrate itself? Feel the answer. Feel it. Breathe in and breathe out. And if you feel that you can come back, bit by bit, do that. Step by step. Get back into your body. Get back into here and now. Feel that contact, simply noticing and approaching the part you're integrating without rushing to change it. Here is my part. Let me see it. Feel the release, that you gave that part space to express itself. Feel the unification. Witnessing the shift. Maybe the need is not met right now because we are not doing the whole process. But you felt what it is when the need is met. What it is. What is the homecoming? So feel it right now. And start coming back into the awareness, into yourself, into here and now. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, stretch your body. You can hug yourself and give yourself a little awareness of being present here and now. Some gratitude that emerges. Don't force it. Don't make yourself gratitude, because gratitude, don't make yourself grateful, because gratitude, it's a feeling that is a bonus feeling, I call it. It is starting to emerge when you are integrated, when you own your trauma, It's a natural feeling. You cannot force it by writing something in your diary. But you can start faking it and even trusting that, oh yeah, I'm doing something there. But still, the most profound gratitude, gratefulness, it is coming as a bonus when you integrated something. So, right now, feel yourself here. And today, I want to invite you onto the journey with me into the method of 3 eyes. So I will end this session, this second day of our workshop, because we'll meet tomorrow and we'll be talking about the third eye, yeah? The third eye, the initiation process in the method of 3 eyes. We will be talking about it tomorrow, but today I want to invite you on a journey. You can already join me as an early bird for the full method of 3 eye group process that I will be holding space for and I will be conducting for you, and we will be doing that together. And I want to invite you there if you want to continue that process. I will tell you all the details right now, because I told you that really this process, it's not a process that we are doing like in 2 minutes. It is a 7 till 9 weeks journey inside of yourself. This is a really deep process that we are doing together. And this process has 7 modules, and we are doing a lot inside of the program. So you will have the start. I will give you the link where you can just press the button and see the website where everything is written. And for you guys on my Instagram account, there will be a link, or it is already there in my bio. You can just go there, just press the link in bio and just read everything, the whole program on the website. I will now mention some hallmarks of it so you can understand what will be going on there. And me personally, I'm going through this process together with you. So, and what I'm trying to say here is that this is not just a quick fix. This is a deep inner work. It is called the method of 3 eyes. I told you already about it. It's a process where we identify your problem and then the symptom and then your traumatic floor. And then we are going into an integration process. We integrate the whole part of you that is a compensatory mechanism. Then we integrate the whole part of you that it's your shadow. Then we have a session that is helping us to reveal the family resonance. So it's sort of an ancestral healing, if to use the regular language. I don't like the word healing, you already know that, but I can name it like it. So it's an ancestral integration. We are integrating the blocks that were there in your family dynamics. And then we move to initiation process. And then we have one more session that is a somatic session. We are doing some somatic practices to release the energy from our bodies. This is a very profound thing to do also. And then we dive into initiation. We are going to the process where we are raising our vibration and we are going above the trauma. It's not like I'm raising the vibration, I'm now better than you. No, it's just a higher vibration. It's not the better one. So we are going there, and from that point, from that higher vibrational state, we can own our trauma and we can have that gratitude towards everything. You don't need to know what trauma do you have. You don't need to understand exactly what was happening in your childhood. You just need to be open to see something new. You can have a problem. You can name it, oh, lack of money, lack of responsibility, or you have a problem with the relationship, or you just want to go deeper inside of you. It doesn't matter. You name it. Everything is fine. So key features of this program, it's a focus on personal transformation. the participant's journey through the it's like the participant's journey through the client's path. So I have a lot of clients that went through the method of 3 eyes with me together, and now I'm doing that in a group dynamics for people that can get together, like-minded people who want to be on that journey and who want to see themselves from a deeper perspective and who want my help there. So I'm going with you into that process. I'm doing the practices myself also together with you, because it's all of the time something deeper, something new, something interesting, because this is the practice of coming back to you. Of course, we have an app where everything will be downloaded. So you will have all the lessons, the pre-recorded lessons. We have pre-recorded lesson and the practice, the live practice. So you're watching the lesson, you have all the materials there. I'm giving the printouts so you can print them out, a lot of materials that you can work on. Those materials can help you really to do the homeworks. It's like a workbooks, and it's not just a workbook. There is a lot of information. So you're watching the lesson, and after the lesson you can download the materials, or you can download and print them out and just like watch the lesson together with the materials. And then after that you are having a practice with me. I will tell you about the app just in a minute. Give me a second. And also you are going into the practice with me. We have Zoom sessions where we meet live, and where for 2 hours we have a practice. So it's all very practical. Method of 3 eyes, it's not a theory. It's a practical method. And we are going through the whole process together. I'm guiding you and I'm teaching you. You will know a lot of new things about yourself. It's not just, okay, let's do the practice without any information. Like Joe Dispenza says, there is a lot to learn before do the work, because we need the information for transformation. So I'm giving you all the information in the lessons, and then we are diving deeper on our practices with me. So I will give you the program right now, and I will tell you what is waiting on you there, and then I'll answer the questions and I'll tell you where to get the app and all that stuff. It is in your Apple Store and on the Google Market. I don't know how it's called because I'm not an Android user, but we have the app downloads there too, so you can download it there or in the Apple Store. The app contains everything you need. So there you'll get the chat. There you'll get the course, and all the materials will be there. There is a lesson, there are downloads that go with the lesson. Also, you'll get there the recordings. When we have a Zoom after that recording, you can have it in the app also. So we are going deeper. What you're gonna have there? There will be first the pre-training. There is a module that is a pre-training. You will identify the truth about your family dynamics. What was going on there? We are not there to blame, to say your mom is bad or your dad is like blah, blah, blah. No, we are there to understand where is it all coming from. We will see your lineage. We will calibrate your inner compass to quickly implement your course intention, because you need to have a course intention, not to be unfocused or like focused on everything. You need a precise focus on the problem, which you call a problem, but actually it's a symptom. So you need to understand what are you working with, and the pre-training module helps with that. We will determine which specific request will lead you to your goals. Oh, I see. Hi, I can understand what you said. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. There are some compliments that this lady was following me before, and now she has the opportunity to see this live. Hi, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. So then we will have the energy practice, the pre-recorded energy practice. It's an audio material. It is also there in the app. It is all included in the price. It is all included in our course. So after the pre-training module, you have an energy practice. It's an audio practice. You insert your headphones and you're listening to it, and you also have a task. You can answer the questions that are you will have them after the practice itself. And then we are jumping in the first module that is called identification. So the first module help you to find the deep pattern in the subconscious mind that is creating all those problems that you have in your daily life. We will pinpoint which personal or ancestral event became the source of the block. We'll uncover the true cause of the issue, not just what appears on the surface, but what is inside. We will formulate a clear intention for the work. Then we have module 2. It is called integration, the release of emotional charge from the event. We will integrate the fragments that stuck in the past. I was working with a lot of victims of abuse, and very often those victims of abuse, they have a part of their consciousness stuck inside of the experience, hiding in the places where it was all going on. For example, one of my clients, she was abused in her grandparents' home. And being abused there, when we went there, she found a part of herself still hiding behind the bed. It sounds bizarre, but guys, this is how we really learn to survive. We desensitize ourselves and we try to hide with our psyche somewhere, and the parts of us are still there. So this is the way to get back to those parts and to integrate them from your past. We will restore contact with the lost parts of yourself and form a new state of wholeness. Then there is a module 3, an integration in the ancestral field. You will explore the ancestral field on an energetic level from the point of resonance. We will reveal the influence of your lineage on the pattern's formation, integrate ancestral experience without repeating the pain, and reclaim your lineage's power to realize your intentions. So then, after the work in your ancestral field, we'll dive deeper into integration and initiation of the other side of the floor of trauma. So like it is sort of a shadow work. It's not actual shadow work, but sort of you can understand it like it. So the suppressed part of you that was living in the basement for the whole time, we will detect compensatory programs, how the pattern became part of your success strategy. We will integrate the pattern's flip side without losing support, and we will release the inner resource hidden within the pattern experience. This is amazing work. This is my favorite, actually. I love it so much because this gives you so many empowerment, because you start to understand that all that you were hiding is actually a very valid part of you. Then we'll go and dive deeper into the module 5, initiation. We will create a new scenario free from old programs. It's not like close your eyes and imagine your daddy was always there. No, it's a deeper work. We will initiate a new state where past blocks no longer exist. Then we will expand your worldview and allow yourself new results. And then we'll dive deeper into the module 6, applying the result in reality. So this is the practice of having the results not only in your inner world, but having them in the outer world. So this is a very important part. We will learn to act from a new perspective, new position. We will solidify your new behavior model through action and practice. And we will create a plan for implementing changes in the external world. Then we'll have the 7th module that is called shame. I told you that all our society is built on shame. It's basically built on shame, not on authenticity, but it's built on shame. It's a capacity problem, not a communication problem. I think you are replying to something. But I don't know to what. If you give me some context, I can answer the comment. So let's dive deeper into the shame. Shame, it's like a survival strategy, but we have a survival strategy that we have in fear, and we have fight or flight response. So we have fear, and that fear triggers the fight or flight response. But we also have fear that triggers A shame response. And a shame response, it is a part of you that says, I know something true about myself, but the society doesn't accept it. We need to hide it from ourselves too. So this is the way to look at it. It's not a feeling. It's a mechanism. And if you look at the society today, it is all built on shame. Don't do this, they will not accept you. Don't do that, they will not accept you. You need to be this, that, and so on and so forth. So what I am trying to say here is that we work with shame on this deeper level. So module shame talks it is about the most intimate barrier that we have inside of us. Shame shaped your reality for years and will go to the places where you forbade yourself to be yourself. So we will go into the beliefs like, I shouldn't do that because if they know that this is the way I am, they will not accept me. I'd better stay hidden. I'll better hide who I am from myself too. So through deep embodiment and energy practices, you will unlock this inner lock that is just like, in the core of your being, and allow yourself to live without proving, hiding, or belittling yourself. You will have the energy practice that I love the most. It is called the box of shame. So this is how it works. These are our modules. We have a couple of ways you can join us. So there is a way, there are like a couple of ways it's possible to do. There is a starter way to do it. If you feel like you want to dive inside of it, you want to start the process so you can get this this way of joining us. You can open the website and everything is there. It's hard to explain what it is without you seeing the site. So I will just explain you that there is different ways: a starter, a plus, and you also can do a self-paced one. What is the difference? The self-paced one, it is the way of going through the process by yourself. You are doing the work. You don't have the live sessions. You have them in recorded manner. Why do we have the self-paced way of joining us? We have it because a lot of people say, okay, I don't need to be supported. I've done so many things already with myself that I can cope myself with that. So if it is what you want, you can easily do that. Self-paced is the cheapest way to join. So you can do that. You will have 7 weeks of learning. You have recorded video lessons in a convenient app. So it's all there. And you will have Zoom meeting recordings with me. So we will be having live sessions. And as soon as we had them, they will be downloaded on the app and you will be able to watch them. But you are there with yourself, doing the work by yourself. Another way to reserve your spot is to go to the tariff that is called Plus. There you have 7 weeks of learning. You have access to a chat with me and with the peers. So there is a lot of communication. We share a lot, like-minded people combined together. You have also recorded video lessons in a convenient app. Everything is in one place. You can have a chat with me to ask your questions. You have weekly practical Zoom sessions with me, and you have a 4-month access. So you can do this twice, once live with me and once you can go through it already in a recorded manner, but you can pick another problem and go through it. All of my clients that are doing the same thing as you guys, they always use it twice. So you have the access after the course is done, after we went through of it, you have the access for a longer period of time, so use it to the fullest. That's what you can do there. So, and we have, I don't remember the name, how it's called, but we have a tariff where you have 9 weeks of learning. You have access to a chat with peers and a supportive environment. You have recorded video lessons in a convenient app. You have a chat with me. You have weekly practical Zoom sessions with me. You have 6 months access. And you have the module Shame. And there we have only 10 spots. So we have 3 tariffs. First one is self-paced. You are doing it all by yourself. So if you are pretty sure that you can do that by yourself, go for it. Second tariff is where you have the support. Yeah, you have the support, you have 4-month access, you can do the work twice, you have chat, you have me, you have Zoom sessions. Then you have a tariff where you have all of it, plus it's a 6-month access, and it's two sessions more, 2 more live sessions for the module Shame. And also the module itself, it has 2 lessons and it has practices inside that are also there. And we have 10 spots for the last one. So guys, you can read all of it by yourself. I understand that it's hard. You're not seeing that. You need to see what's going on there. So you just can't press the button. You can follow the link. I already posted the link in the chat box for those who are watching me on another platform. For the Instagram viewers, you can go to the bio and open up the link that is in the bio. If you feel the calling, if you want to do that with us, if you want to go through it, I just feel free to do that. Just feel free to join. We will go through the whole process, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there, guys. So after meeting that part of myself, I buried. Am I supposed to be feeling and relieving the trauma, the events I suppressed, etc.? I understand your question. A lot of people are there because they've done the work. I feel like you've done the work. I feel like you are self-aware and you understand what's going on there. A lot of people think that we need to relieve our trauma. We don't. We don't need to relieve it. We need to see what was going on there and why. So the biggest difference in method of 3 eyes, it's not we need to go through the pain to be enlightened. No. I'm not saying that there will be no pain. There will be. But when you see that part that you suppressed, that you didn't let in, you're not supposed to live that trauma again and to have that traumatic experience again. This is not what it is. When you are there with that part and when you're letting that part to express itself, you already feel that release energy, because on a physical point of view, you just have that stuck emotional charge. And when you have that capacity to hold the space for it, it is discharging itself. You start to feel that relief. You start to feel absolutely different. In the method of 3 eyes, why there are 7 modules? 7. We are going through that because it's a big process. It's not a snap of a finger. I showed today you the way the integration is done, but it's just a small part of it. You understand it, right? Because this session of an integration of the part takes 2 hours to work on it specifically. Today we were working on it. Of course, we had the preparation. All the talk I'm doing is just like not for blah, blah, blah. It's a preparation for you to be more open during the practice, the same we are doing in the group dynamics. But what I'm trying to say is that this is the practice of turning towards yourself, feeling that part of yourself, giving it a permission to express itself. And for example, if you are that traumatized girl, remember about that girl from the very beginning of our meeting today. I was talking about the girl who was sitting there being on a timeout in her own room, feeling those big emotions and not having any tools to cope with them. And she was sent there to her room to just calm down by herself, to try to find a way to soothe herself without any help. So at that moment, when you are going to that part that is still there sitting and trying to regulate itself, it has a lot of chaos in the head, and it's just like a lot of pressure, it's a lot of disconnection, loneliness, grief. So when my client, particular client, went to that part, she was not going through the trauma. She was having the container to release that emotional charge. She started to shake a lot. She was like shaking like crazy because a lot of that was suppressed. After that shake, in the integration process, she gave herself, her small self, she gave the presence of her adult self and said, okay, we did it. We survived. And actually, we can learn right now because I'm mature enough. And we can learn right now how to deal with those big emotions in a healthy way. We can do the work that our parents had to do, but they were not capable. For whatever reason, doesn't matter. They were not capable to do that, but we can right now. So the process of integration went through this magical part. And that magical part really created a profound change for her. So that's what I'm saying here. That's where the work is. And I'm guiding you through all of this. I would be very happy to see you in the course. It's not a short course. And I can tell you, I bought a lot of courses in United States. I've invested more than, I think, $100,000 in my education. Yeah, and I can tell you that this course, that there are like short courses and there are long courses, and method of 3 I's, it is a middle by time. So you're not investing the whole year in it. You're investing 7 weeks, but you are getting the amount of information you could get from the course that has a duration for a year. So that's what it feels like. But you will be going through a program that is pretty intense, and this program is 7 weeks. You will be watching a video. We will be meeting once a week. You will be watching a video lesson, doing the homework. I don't like the word homework, but it's just like an additional work that you're doing to prepare yourself for a practice. Then we are meeting each other on a practice, and I'm guiding you there through the whole process. And this is for 7 weeks. So the commitment is 7 weeks, but the amount of transformation you'll get is just like, I cannot even explain you. It's so much you can do during those 7 weeks. You will see yourself from so many different points of view. You will give yourself so many attention, so much love, so much appreciation, so much connection. And this is like, I'm doing this work together with you. Obviously, I'm guiding you through the practices. I'm not doing them, I'm guiding you. But I'm listening to those practices after the meeting. And I'm doing them with you in this manner. Because I feel connected to the group all of the time. I'm the part of the group, and this is the magic of the process. Every time I'm so excited, guys, to start it. And it will be the first time I'm doing it in the United States, but I did it a lot of times in Ukraine, and this is something absolutely outstanding. The way we can bond together in a group of like-minded people, the way we can feel safe, the way we can really connect with each other and go through the practice just next to each other and doing the work with like-minded people. It's a blessing. It's like you're going on a retreat with people that are full of love, compassion, understanding, and actually the whole course is like it. So you're not like alone doing it. If you choose the self-paced tariff, of course you will be like doing the work by yourself. But if you choose the second or the third tariff, obviously we will be all connected together and doing it together. So for today, guys, thank you so much. I feel so much gratitude inside of me right now for being able to create this, being able to talk to you, being able to express what my method is about, being able to show you and to practice with you. I'm looking forward to the day when we can already dive into the work. So right now you can explore the website. If it speaks to you, please join. I will be very happy to see you. And tomorrow we'll meet each other once again, and we will be talking about the third eye, about the initiation process. So thank you so much for this, and I'll see you soon.